Hello everybody, I'm Interface, and in today's video I'm going to be covering how to use Garbantis competitively in Loomian Legacy's Battle Coliseum. Now, I know you all voted for Tyrecks, and I was going to respect it at first, but I've realized that Garbantis is just my favorite Loomian in the update, and I just have to cover it. It needs talked about. This thing is so cool. So, yeah, you'll get how to use Tyrecks another time, but for now, this is how to use Garbantis. Now, before we go into the details of the set, like always, I'm going to cover the things it can do. Despite being a very defensively invested thing, this is a very potent late game cleaner. This it can clean up an unprepared team. It can get very out of hand. It's got a unique form of attacking. Instead of setting up offensive stats, it sets up its defensive stats with Burrow, because it has the move Battering Ram, which uses its melee defense stat rather than its melee attack stat, and then paired with its trash armor boosting its melee defense by 50% and the heavy armor by 20%, or soon to be 30%, it can dish out a lot of damage with that Battering Ram move. Being 90 power, it can hit very hard. Very hard. It's got, pair that with the fact that it's got great resist for the current metagame. It resists Vesperatu Slapdown. It resists Borak, Earthquake, and Megachomp. It resists Tyrecks Earthquake. Yeah, it's got options. It's got options to come in on. Sure, you don't want to eat a Borak Raging Tackle, but while the risk is there, the risk is smaller than in a previous update because there are a lot more things this thing just clicks Earthquake against than not, so it's a lot easier to take an Earthquake than it was before, which is what makes this even better. Same with Tyrecks, it's going to click Earthquake a lot, and complete demolition would hurt if you came in on it, but the chances of that are fairly slim because it prefers to set up a scapegoat before getting into the complete demolition mode. And yeah, you can take that on very well. And this thing gets out of hand if it can set up like 2 burrows, you are in trouble. You are in a lot of trouble. But yeah, let's go over the details of the set. Robust, nimble, very clumsy. Robust to maximize your damage. We don't want very robust because we want nimble. Because it lets you outspeed things like Vesperatu to Clips. The thing's just under its speed tier. The 152 speed here outspeeds max speed offensive to Clips if they decide to run that. We don't go the investment isn't for max speed Vesperatu because even if it outspeeds you, it's not really gonna beat you. So we just go for Clips here. We don't want to take that Raging Howl potentially, so we just outspeed it there. 200 melee defense, again, just maxes out the defense, and then your 144 HP is for just, general bulk there, and or to take your physical hits a little better, and the 4 energies just left over. Now you can go 144 speed instead of 152 because that still outspeeds max speed to Clips, and then go 12 energy. That's if you're not running heavy armor, because then that puts you up to 230 energy, and that allows you to burrow twice and still have enough for 4 Battering Rams. So there's that option for you as well. Now the moves, Battering Ram's obvious, you're abusing your defense stat. Clay Slap is an Earth Stab. It can hit Ikazune and Hunder very hard. Now it won't Oko outright, but if they're chipped to like 80% of their health, it will. Ikazune just needs... it does 89 to over 100, and then 100 does like 70 to 90 or something like that. So if you can chip it down enough, the Clay Slap will knock them out. You do take 1 hit from each of them. Ikazune takes 2 hits to knock you out. Hunter takes 2 hits to knock you out. So you can 1v1 them if necessary, but I personally wouldn't recommend that. Yeah. Provoke is there so that things like Swolder, they can't poison you. Things can't barter you. and things can't set up on you. So that's what Provoke is for. You can actually 1v1 Swolder, assuming they don't have Venom Drop and poison you, but if you have Provoke, and that's why it's there. Burrow, obvious setup defense, basically making you stronger. You take physical hits better, and you deal a lot more damage. So, yeah, there you go. Now, teammates for this particular, for Garbantis, offensive metals, they love Garbantis. It can bait in Stratosaur so well, and the offensive metals eat that thing up for breakfast. So you can open up the opponent's team so well if you pair up Garbantis in an offensive metal type like Gardrone, Hunder, and Secret Ability Valkyrie. Yeah, because taking advantage of Stratosaur is always fun. It's very easy to do it because it's very passive against opposing metal types. Now, also, you can pair it with Ferroglyph because, you know, Vesperatu, Seti Mars, even to an extent Ursul, although that's not as obvious, or not as, like, notable because it resists your Battering Ram. But things like Ferroglyph, or things like Vesperatu and Seti Mars that can threaten Ferroglyph if they get in. Seti are... Garbantis eats up for breakfast. Those two are fodder when it comes for Garbantis. That thing just abuses them and sets up on them. But things you gotta look out for with it are faster ranged attackers like Zulong and Protogon. They will smack you hard because one, they're faster, and two, they're ranged. So yeah, don't try and take on Zulong and Protogon. Or you know, in an immediate 1v1. I mean, you'll win a strict 1v1 with Zulong because you have Clay Slap, but if you're chipped at all, that thing will threaten you very quickly. And Protogon, just don't take on. You could, if it switches in on you, great, you're chipping it, but don't stay in. That thing will obliterate you. Another thing, Hunder does outspeed you and has Chili Chomp, so it can hit you for quad effective. It won't one-shot you outright, but if you get chipped, it will. And then something else, a full HP Ikazune, like I said earlier, it's not going to drop in one hit to a Clay Slap, and its Fire Breath will hurt you. So if you're chipped, again, don't try and 1v1 it. And then you've got Avitross is an iffy matchup. It can go either way, but it's something to watch out for. It's physically oriented, which gives you an edge in beating it because you could burrow potentially. But it's dangerous, so be wary. And then two things that completely wall you can't do anything about are Ventation and Stratosaur. Those two will 100% wall you, especially if Ventation with Mysterious Dust, because poison, if you carry poison, which is another option by the way, Garbantis does learn it. You could run it over Provoke if you want. But Mysterious Dust, Ventation, can keep the poison off of it, potentially, and Stratosaur just quad resist your Bug Stab, immune to your Earth Stab, can't be poisoned, or you can't use poison on it, and yeah, it hits you on the range side, so Burrow isn't going to save you. So yeah, those are just a few things to look out for with using Garbantis, and yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to the next set, shall we?
Make sure to like and subscribe, or else a Garbantis is going to battering ram you tonight.
Alright, so for a change, we actually have a set that's completely different from the first set. This is a this is an offensive, you know, by the actual definition of offensive, this is an offensive Garbantis. It's using its secret ability Sharp Claws, and it's abusing its speed stat and acting more as a revenge killer rather than a sweeper. This time, instead of robust, you're just going very nimble, clumsy, foolish, maximize your speed. This will outspeed nimble Hunder, and with full offensive investment, you can actually OHKO it with Clay Slap, so you can actually, you know, revenge kill it if it tries to sweep you or break you. Come in on a Mega Chomp if you can, so or Thunder Chomp, and yeah, so that's what the speed and attack are for. 28 energy allows you to pair 3 parasitizes with some Clay Slaps, or I believe that's what it was. Allow me to double check. Yeah, the investment allows you to get 3 parasitizes off, a Clay Slap, and a Venom Chomp all together. So if that's what you need, that's what the energy investment for. And then the 80 HP is just leftover. So like I said, this is a revenge killing set. You can if you're struggling things like Hunter, Ikazune, Ferroglyph, Tata, things like potentially try and sweep. You outspeed all of them, and you can O-code them all. Tata with Venom Chomp is a 93 point something percent chance to OHKO. So it's a small chance to not get it, but you will likely OHKO it with a Venom Chomp. You can run Power Cups instead of Bug Essence here, but then your energy cost goes up and you can use less moves. And plus the Power Cups is a very contested slot to begin with. So in general, just using Bug Essence, it's basically a free item. Nothing really uses it very often. And it powers up Parasitize to the point where you can OHKO Ferroglyph and Shachi. That still has the melee defense investment. You can OHKO both of them. Dusket has it's a roll, but it's not in your favor. It's like a 30% chance to OHKO it. But yeah, that's what the offensive set's for. It just comes in and stops things from sweeping. It outspeeds very serious threats. Hunter, Ikazune, Ferroglyph, Tata. All very great offensive Loomians in this update, and it outspeeds them all and can OHKO them all. So yeah, but the fact that it has less bulk than the heavy armor set means it's not going to be able to come in as easily. It does not have good bulk naturally. 53 HP is awful. 90 melee defense is alright, but it's completely uninvested, and you have 53 HP, and 64 range defense is just awful. So yeah, don't expect this to be taking hits. The bulk is awful, but it is a good revenge killer. It's very good. But yeah, you could still pair it with the same stuff. Regardless of the set, Garbantis will lure in Stratosaur, and you could just use your offensive metal types to blow through it. So nothing really changes about the team options, but you don't really, help against Borok, Tyrecks anymore. You could still beat Vesperatu, but yeah, you don't really want to mess with Bor or Tyrex anymore, considering your defense isn't what it is anymore. So yeah, that's that. I think the first set is better, but this is a fun set to use if you want to use something a little bit different. So yeah, that's basically how to use Garbantis. If you're interested in more stuff from me, I have a Twitter and a Discord. The Discord's a pretty lively community. Soon I'll be getting into tournaments for Sephirite's update. So just join the Discord, wait for the announcement for that. You could also help provide use stats by just posting pictures of teams you fight in competitive format battles. Yeah, that's very helpful. We could help decide. It helps with forming new metagames, like using less popular Loomians in tournaments, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's just join the community. Why not? Anyway, yeah. By the way, if you didn't know, I normally post one video a day, but hey, there's a showcase coming later today, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'll see y'all in another video. See ya.